You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, authorities in Newton County arrest a man after discovering a body in a well.
While clouds gather outside the television city tower cam for the most of the 4 states, the thunderstorm activity is already upon us. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And we take you to a town that threw a parade in support of a young boy who is suffering from third-degree burns. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Crews will be doing some work on the Will Rogers Turnpike this morning. The Will Rogers Turnpike is going to be narrowed to 1 lane, mile marker 318. That's between Miami and the Missouri state line. Starts at 9:30 this morning and runs until 1:30 this afternoon for barrier repair. Drivers can expect minor travel delays. Should be alert to workers and equipment on the roadway. Please plan your trip accordingly. Authorities in Newton County arrest a suspect after the discovery and identification of a body in a well. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the remains for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. This September, Pittsburgh State University can expect about 5,000 people to show up on campus, but they won't be students. The campus will play host to the inaugural 4 States Music Festival. The event is being put on by Kansas City-based Social House Entertainment. It'll feature 5 country music artists, including Chase Rice. A festival of this size could have a big impact on the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, obviously, anytime you have 5,000 people in your town, you have sales tax implications. They will buy food, they will buy gas, things like that. And a lot of them will probably stay overnight in some of the hotels. So all of that has a very strong financial implication for the city.
Organizers say there'll be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now. You can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up in our next half hour, our very own Chris Warner will tell us more about the 4 States Music Festival. Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce honors companies and teachers for their dedication to the community. Awards were announced during a banquet on Thursday. Golden Apple Awards were given to Erica Dunning, a teacher at Irving Elementary, Margie Black, a teacher at St. Mary's Elementary, and also Darren Morgan at South Middle School. Aaron Flederman, a teacher at Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School. Now, these teachers were nominated by students, parents, and coworkers. Businesses of the Year awards include Abernathy Roofing and Construction, representing the 1 to 50 employee category, the Ozark Center of the 51-plus employee category, and Connect to Culture, representing the not-for-profit category. We'll have them on later in the show. The Outstanding Citizen of the Year was presented to Harry M. Cornell, Jr. Congratulations. Some area students celebrated completion of a youth leadership program. Volunteers with the Pittsburgh Area Chamber Foundation held activities with 6th graders from schools in Crawford County on the importance of making a positive impact on the lives of others. On Thursday, around 500 students graduated from the program.
It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes empowered children to grow the village.
Youth Leadership Program was created 20 years ago. If you want to volunteer, you can find out how on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. It's going to make like a...
Ron wants you to say it. Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
My producer wrote this, so we're going to take you back to Back to the Future times, okay?
Make like a hockey puck?
I'm going to make like a tree and leaf. Leaf? Get it? Yeah? It's Arbor Day. A chance for everyone to stop and smell the dogwoods or the pine or maple and celebrate everything trees do for us. They signal season changes, give us oxygen, protect the earth from erosion, and give wildlife little homes where they can hang. It's all good till you bring those homes inside. Now, Arbor Day has been celebrated since 1872 when a journalist challenged the people of Nebraska to plant as many trees as they could. So take a little inspiration and plant a tree yourself, or just pause for a moment of gratitude for the trees you come across every day.
That was good. You pulled that off to a T at the beginning. You did it. You did it. Even you paused, though, before you said it.
Because you were talking off camera. Nobody knew what was going on.
I know, because I looked up at the teleprompter and I was like, oh no. It was perfect. So when I hear Arbor Day, for those of you that may have grown up in the state of Ohio, there's one city that I think of in particular, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
The home of the University of Michigan, which actually is because of trees.
They have a few up there.
They do. And then the beginning of the city name is because the two founders of the city, their wives were both named Ann. And they comboed it with the amount of trees that they have there. And that's why Ann Arbor is actually named after a pair of women. And the beautiful trees.
I wonder if one of them claims it's about themselves and the other one claimed it was about them. And there was a little battle
I'm not getting
over
in the middle
which
of that.
Ann?
I am not getting in the middle of that argument.
I'm headed to
that's
Ann
for
Arbor.
sure.
Which one?
Well, what happens in Michigan stays in Michigan. Live look outside of Television City, where we have had the impressive cloud cover gather. However, we do not have it raining sideways like it is for portions of the 4 states right now, as the Skywatch Storm Tracker, with all that lightning that we've had with these morning thunderstorms accompanied by very, very heavy rain. Right now, moving through Vernon County up by Nevada, that was pummeled yesterday, as a matter of fact, along Highway 126 by Lamar. As we drop down to Joplin, it's been more of the shower activity, and that's been in the southern portion of town. But as we transition out here, we see additional rainfall coming right along Highway 160 through Cherokee County, about to make its way through Columbus. And then as we transition up to the north, in between Yates Center and Iola, torrential rainfall as well. So when we throw on our watches, warnings, and advisory map, I'm going to remove the radar because you'll see a little sliver here of white, and that's a little bit of a change that just developed this year. We've gone from pretty much what used to be severe thunderstorm watches. Remember those, the severe thunderstorm watch, not the warning, those still exist. But the severe thunderstorm watches have now been replaced with what the National Weather Service prefers to call a special weather statement. But it gives you an idea about how strong it is and how fast it's traveling. And so right now, this is traveling to the east at 30 miles an hour, and that encompasses that area right there in between Yates Center, Iola, and Chanute. Our temperatures are in the mid-60s, and eventually we're going to make it up around, close to 80 degrees. We just got to wait for this thing to pass. Now, after it does, great looking afternoon, great looking evening. Don't be out late tonight. This thing is not fooling around right here. That's a good old-fashioned squall line. We haven't used that term in a while. As this thing develops and rolls through, it's pretty imminent that this is going to happen. Torrential rainfall, high winds. We could go 50 miles per hour, and also that thing's going to spit hail.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
And here's the thing, Tanya, our models all week long have not changed from what we got this morning to what we're anticipating overnight. There's been no variation. It's been consistent, which at that point in time, we're less than 24 hours away you go, is going to happen.
It's just a matter of when it's going to roll through specifically your area.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep you apprised to that. Thank you, Michael. Nobody knows arts and culture in Joplin like Emily Frankowski from Connect to Culture, and we've got her live in the studio. We do not. We have her via Zoom in the studio, correct?
No. Frank and I sat down a couple days ago.
Sat down. We have a pre-taped interview from the studio. I'm going to promote it right. All right, sorry about that. And later, we meet an 82-year-old grandmother who's training for her second black belt. You don't want to miss that.
When it comes to the right amount of sleep, a new study has the lucky number for some groups of adults. Researchers at the University of Cambridge in England say 7 hours of sleep happens to be just the right for maintaining brain performance and mental health in people from ages 38 to 73. The scientists reviewed data, interviewed and tested subjects Both insufficient and excessive sleep impaired performance, processing speed, visual attention, memory, even problem solving. Now, too little sleep also build up brain blocking proteins. Try saying that one 5 times fast. Now, those brain blocking proteins, those can affect the onset of dementia. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Location, location, location. And when it comes to skin health, not every state ranks the same. As you see, the worst states for skin's health that we see right there, West Virginia, oh, thanks, Mom and Dad. Ohio chimes in at 49. Look at the Midwest states right there, with West Virginia, Ohio, and Indiana down at the bottom. Now, the best states, hello, big sky country, Montana, North Dakota, and transition a little bit to the east with Minnesota. And so there we go. The Beauty Company is asking dermatologists to rank each state from best to worst, and that's how they came up with these findings. All right, as far as what we're seeing on the 7-day forecast, thunderstorm activity throughout. And remember, we are just now getting started because as we roll through this morning, we are going to have additional thunderstorms for tonight. But first, let's concentrate what's at hand because this is going to be some torrential rainfall that will affect your commute. We are a long way from over. Let's go ahead and remove the lightning tracker because it gives you a better idea of where we see that intensity, especially in Vernon County, just on the south side of Highway 54 in between Fort Scott and Nevada. And then if you're going to go up 49, you're going to run into that pretty much from just about the Barton County line, say when you get into Lamar, all the way from 49, and it's going to rain all the way up to KC on you as we transition out to the west. Once again, that's going to be 54 headed out to the west. Down to the south, we've got a good little cell, small one right now in Cherokee County that's headed toward Joplin that we will keep our eyes on. Let's come back, talk to the award-winning Connected Culture and Emily Frankowski right after this.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Thomas Carroll, MD. Captain Thomas Carroll served in the Army from 1943 to 1945. He served in France and Germany with the 63rd Infantry Division. During his service, he earned the Silver Star, 2 bronze medals, a Purple Heart, and the European Theater Ribbon. His hometown, Lamar, Missouri. We thank you, today's four-state hero, Thomas Carroll. Well, a surprising show of support for a 6-year-old burn victim in Connecticut. First responders joined others in the community in a parade to cheer up the child as he recovered from serious injuries. Frank Richa reports.
This is amazing, all these people that came out.
Under a perfect blue sky here at Bridgeport Hospital, a parade of first responders showing support and encouragement for 6-year-old burn patient Dominic Krankel, whose excitement was obvious as he greeted all the well-wishers from a hospital window. A child whose story quickly captured national attention this week after police say he suffered burns to his face and leg upon coming in contact with ignited gasoline on Louisiana Avenue on Sunday.
He's waving because he sees me. Dominic!
Maria Grasso, who works at the hospital, says she was so happy to see her little cousin on the mend.
He loves dogs, he loves policemen.
She said Dominic himself wants a career in law enforcement, so this day was a thrill.
He's waving, he's waving.
News 12 Connecticut broke the story on Tuesday when Dominic's parents said he had been the victim of a bully who targeted their son.
He threw a ball at his face and set my son on fire.
The other child's family disputes those allegations. Regardless, officials say Dominic is dealing with the situation bravely.
You've touched everyone in this state.
Bridgeport Mayor Joe Ganim, meantime, joining the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association in giving Dominic a morning to remember.
We're with you 100%. I hope it's a message that will continue to give him the strength that he needs as he goes through from here forward.
A child who first responders said is wowing the world with his courage as he recovers from a life-changing experience. A 6-year-old boy winning hearts from on high today with happy waves and smiles.
Little angel, God bless him, God be with him.
Well, Dominic is expected to recover with minimal scarring. Bridgeport police, along with state police and fire officials, are investigating the incident. Well, another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, campus of PSU will soon play host to an upcoming music festival. We'll have the details. And with the cost of everything going up, including travel, many people are looking for cheaper alternatives. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:32. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Authorities in Newton County identify the body found in a well on Wednesday and arrest a suspect for his murder. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the body for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Oklahoma House gives final approval to a Texas-style ban on abortions. The bill prohibits abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the fetus. Experts say that's typically about 6 weeks into a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Like Texas, the bill also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion for up to $10,000. The bill now heads to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign it within days. Pittsburgh State University will have 5,000 additional people on campus this September for one day only. KOAM's Chris Warner explains why.
The campus of Pittsburgh State University is home to thousands of students every year. This September, it'll play host to the first ever 4 States Music Festival, featuring a number of country music artists. Nick Noland is the owner of Social House Entertainment, which is putting on the festival.
You know, we just thought that it was a great opportunity, and I think there had been some kind of previous conversations where Pitt State wanted to do something like this, but didn't maybe know exactly how to do it or have the right partner. And and I stepped in and met Pitt State and just really kind of hit it off. And our visions were, very much aligned, and we were off to the races.
Nolan says that made Pitt State a perfect fit for the festival and provided just what they were looking for in a venue.
So we're building it in the field right next to the football stadium there at Pitt State. So really it gives us kind of a blank canvas to start with to really build out kind of what we had envisioned.
One concern that's come up is alcohol on the campus. Pitt State President Dr. Steve Scott says they're already prepared.
We sell alcohol at our football games now. So that's not anything new to us. When I was here as a student, we used to sell alcohol in the student center. So sometimes these things come full circle. But I would say that we take that particular element of the shows seriously, and we'll be doing our due diligence leading up to the show to make sure that that's done appropriately.
Pittsburgh Deputy City Manager Jay Byers says all these visitors will have a big impact on the city as well.
Well, obviously, anytime you have 5,000 people in your town, you have sales tax implications. They will buy food, they will buy gas, things like that. And a lot of them will probably stay overnight in some of the hotels. So all of that has a very strong financial implication for the city.
In Pittsburgh, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Nolan says there will be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now. You can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. An unusual sight in an Atlanta suburb. A woman saw a large alligator sunning itself in a creek near restaurants and shops in Peachtree City. Now, it's unusual for gators to be that far north in Georgia. The Department of Natural Resources says it sent a technician out to the site, but it couldn't find the animal. So far, there are no plans to trap or relocate it. But an alligator has been spotted in that creek before, back in 2016, 2018, and in 2020.
Oh, biannual.
Every couple of years, but it's unclear if it's the same one.
So that really does make me, oftentimes when we see cell phone video, especially when it comes to an altercation, I question people and I say, why are you taking video of this and why are you not stopping it? This actually gives me pause on that because instead of this animal officer showing up and maybe perhaps not even believing the woman, she was able to say, no, look, this was actually here.
And if she turned her phone sideways, you could get a better view of it and actually see a little more of the land around it.
Spoken like a true TV Lewis.
So why people insist on doing
folks,
vertical shots with their phones. Flip it sideways, folks.
Show your video on air, please turn it sideways.
It's so frustrating.
The frustration you have is great.
Even if you're putting it on Facebook, you can see so much more of it if you turn it sideways.
And Tanya will respond to you on Facebook as well. Live look over 7th and Rangeline. The dark clouds beginning to build. However, it's been just a matter of sprinkles so far for Joplin. Now, you get down on the south side of Joplin, you've seen some legitimate rain showers. It is windy as well. Let's check out what we've got for the rest of the 4 states, because we got a little bit of a mess on our hands, especially when you get north of Pittsburgh. Look at all the lightning coming down through Vernon County and Barton County, and then stretching north up through portions of even St. Clair County as well. So if you're going to be on I-49, it is going to be a tad bit of a mess this morning. Also, too, Highway 54. Give me a hard wire. Yeah, okay. Also, too, Highway 54 in between Fort Scott and Nevada, where we've got torrential rainfall coming down. So far, we've been able to avoid any flood watches or warnings, but I want to point this out as well. After this passes through, the severe thunderstorm risk map remains elevated for portions of southeast Kansas, and even elevated or low for the entire 4 states. That is because this is simply round 1. This afternoon, highs close to 80 degrees, but as we prepare for tonight into tomorrow, we've got a good old-fashioned squall line that develops up to the northwest. Beyond our far northwestern counties, about 10 p.m., and as this thing rolls through, this is going to develop into a legitimate storm that's going to bring us high winds, distinct possibility of hail with that as well. Rolling through and out of here by about sunrise. Rest of Saturday will be delightful. Don't worry about that. But once again, I want everybody on their toes even after this passes through for Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, home security, frightening story out of California. That's a home camera showing a burglar in the home of the Sandovals. It shows the burglar standing over the couple's bed while they slept. They had no idea what was going on. Our question for you this morning is, how do you secure your home? Right now, 35% of you going with all of these, whether it be lock the doors, own a gun, own a dog, or alarms. In second place is locking the door. Appreciate everybody's engagement each and every morning. Once again, KOAMNewsNow.com/vote, or you connect to us via our Facebook page at KOAM News Now. A 4-state martial arts instructor recently earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Our own sports director, Jacob Leonard, with a story on his journey and how he's bringing the sport to the Pittsburgh community.
Pittsburgh's Andrew Brown got a bit of a late start in his martial arts career.
Well, I had an epiphany around the age of 21, and I kind of had that thing growing up, like most people in general. They think that when something goes down, I'm going to be able to just handle it. And then I had this epiphany. It's like, I don't know anything about anything. I need to actually learn how to defend myself and, take my life in a positive direction.
Despite his late start, Brown has worked for nearly 15 years, and last month earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right before blue belt is when I stopped worrying about what belt I was going to get. I was just like, I'm just going to train. I'm going to do this the rest of my life, and when it happens, it happens. These are all my peers. I don't see myself as better than anybody in this room. If you're in here working with me, we're equal. And so they were all giving me crap. They're like, "Oh, professor," and I'm like, "It's Andrew, guys. Come on."
With the black belt comes a step up in competition for Brown.
There's going to be guys in my division that were winning the world championships when they were in their 20s, and I'll be 36 this year. So those guys have been black belts since they were 20, 21 years old, and I just got mine. So I've got some big shoes to start filling in. But I'm up for the challenge, and I want to lead by example for my students. I don't want them to be afraid of stepping out of their comfort zone and getting out there and testing themselves.
It also means more responsibility off the mat.
It's not just about getting the belt in the martial art or you're tough or this or that. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard around people. You have to lead by example. I've got 30 adults and 10 kids in here that, whether I like it or not, they look up to me, and I have to, if it's in here, if it's out there, I I try to be cordial, polite, be kind, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, I believe.
Brown spends most of his time passing along what he's learned to his students at Arise Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Pittsburgh. He's hoping to give the next generation something he didn't have growing up, and maybe a chance to earn a black belt of their own.
I don't want to be the last. I want there to be more. I want every person that comes in here to achieve that, if that's what their goal is, you know. I wish I had access to jiu-jitsu when I first started. I mean, we were at the YMCA on wrestling mats, looking YouTube videos up and learning takedowns from wrestlers. But if I had somebody to instruct me like the right way and show me the small details in the beginning, like, oh, it would have been amazing.
The video right there. Brown teaches jiu-jitsu classes for kids, but also adults. You can check out a complete class schedule in this story on our sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with consumer news right after this.
Prices for everything are on the rise, including vacations, and that has many people searching for cheaper alternatives. Michael George reports.
Lavina Perry is taking her first vacation since the pandemic started. She brought her grandchild from North Carolina to see the sights in New York City.
Feels good to get out and walk and be around people.
But what doesn't feel good is the price tag, from the flights to the hotel rooms.
How do you feel about the higher cost of traveling right now?
That sucks, but if you want to get out, you got to do it.
Americans are getting hit with vacation sticker shock. The travel site Hopper.com says the average price for a domestic flight is $353, up 39% from last year. And hotel rates are $160 a night, 20% higher than a year ago.
We found that about 6 in 10 Americans are planning summer vacations, but almost 70% of them are making some changes because of inflation.
Ted Rossman is with Bankrate. A new survey shows the most common changes include traveling a shorter distance, engaging in cheaper activities, and booking less expensive accommodations, which is what Maria Janoka chose to do.
We're not going to Florida because it was too expensive, so we're going to Texas because it was way cheaper.
Other vacationers are saving money by going camping. Many will head to a national park, and 28% of those surveyed are only planning a staycation. But Rossman says it can be rewarding.
Play tourist in your local area, maybe plan some day trips, some things that are fun and nearby, but you don't always get a chance to do.
Whether it's a short road trip or an international flight, travel experts say it's a good idea to plan and book now because rates are expected to stay high. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The Bankrate survey also found only 33% of American workers who get paid vacation time plan to use all of it. Michael. Anyway, we'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Armed with 16-inch claws, standing at a height of 32 feet. It's a new dinosaur discovery delighting the scientific community. Kevin Cork takes a look at the new prehistoric creature and what clues its fossils could tell us about other dinosaurs.
Paleontologists in Argentina unveiling a massive new discovery, a new type of megaraptor dinosaur that they say towered in at roughly 32 feet tall and weighed 5 tons. The creature, named Mape macrothorax, lived across what's now modern-day Argentina about 70 million years ago. Scientists say these fossilized remains are in such pristine condition that they're able to give researchers a better understanding of a dinosaur's anatomical composition.
We were able to recover many parts of the chest, which gave us an idea of what the thorax was like. This animal has such a large chest cavity. It shows the ligament insertions that join the vertebrae with the ribs.
Even though these bones may not look so dangerous in their current state, researchers say these creatures were powerful killing machines with an insatiable appetite for meat.
Megaraptors were animals with agile skeletons, long tails which surely helped them to move and have a better equilibrium, with long necks and a long skull with over 60 small pointed teeth. But their best weapon was their strong, long arms topped with long, curved, and pointed blades.
To give you just a bit of a comparison standard, velociraptors were roughly 7 feet tall and weighed upwards of 43 pounds. Now, previous megaraptor discoveries were larger at 26 feet tall and a little over 2,000 pounds, still nowhere near the sheer size of the Mape macrothorax. Impressive. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden is asking Congress to approve an additional $33 billion in aid to help Ukraine defend itself against the Russian onslaught. In the capital, Kyiv, missile strikes were reported after UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres met with President Volodymyr Zelensky and other Ukrainian leaders. Millions of parents may be moving closer to the day they can get their young children vaccinated against COVID-19. Moderna asked the FDA to authorize its 2-dose shot for kids as young as 6 months. Each vaccine is 1/4 the strength of an adult dose. And after an earlier mistrial, a man charged with killing 18 older women in the Dallas area over a 2-year span was convicted of capital murder in one case. The jury took less than an hour to find Billy Shermermer guilty in the smothering death of an 81-year-old woman in her home in 2018.
All right, Tanya, let's work from south to north because northeast Oklahoma, far southern portions of southwest Missouri, including Joplin, it's just going to be several raindrops. Now, as we get about halfway through Crawford County and then we work up to the north, here's our serious rain. I do want to point this out right on the Crawford-Bourbon County line. That pink that you see right there, that is that equivocates to about 5 inches of rain per hour. That's the torrential downpour that's going to ride just on the other side of Hepler, head toward Arcadia, cross over into the Missouri Vernon-Barton County state line or county line, and then continue off to the east. And if you've got to go up to Kansas City today, that's going to be a mess as well. Remember, we've got additional thunderstorm activity headed our way tonight. Good old-fashioned squall line into Saturday morning, and temperatures finally, consistently in the 70s.
All right. Sounds like after midnight we need to be on the lookout here, huh?
Nothing good happens after midnight. My grandmother told me that.
Okay.
That's true.
Noted. All right, well,
Emperor penguins.
I was going to tell you about this little metallic emperor penguin, but we'll save that for another day. All right, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning.
The emperor penguins are now going to be up there with Eiffel Tower. Back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.